Yeah, we're good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the One More Rep podcast. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Percher. As always, this video is brought to you by NutriBio Supplements, Crystals, Bikinis, Bio Longevity Labs, and RapidRxUSA.com. Check the link in the description box. In that link, you will find the school membership forum that I host with Tom Schuster and my coaching inquiry sheet. Check that out. I'm joined by IFBB Pro Mike Condell, IFBB Pro Luke Pritchard. We are doing bodybuilding questions, not just training this time. We do have some good training questions, but we're going to mix it up a bit. But I did want to get to this one first. I think a lot of people, it's competition season, so a lot of people are going to be going into the rebound, whatever. We all know for whatever reason, the rebound can be a very controversial take. So this guy writes in and says, you guys last week discussed the considerations and how to go about training at the end of a prep. What considerations and strategies do you like to use coming out of a show?
That's a good question.
I thought so too. I thought so too.
I'm like kind of almost a terrible person to ask about this because what I do is not what I would tell you to do.
Well, tell us both.
Mike
Tell
doesn't
us
hold
both.
back, bro. Mike doesn't hold back.
Like we were talking about before we started the episode. Like if I'm in the gym and I feel good, holding back is near impossible for me.
Yeah.
So I get to it full blast way too quick. I mean, like, I got home from New York and that Sunday was a leg day and I'd maxed out the hack squat. Not advisable. Don't recommend it. In general, though, I mean, it should almost kind of look like what you do coming in. Coming out should look the same as coming in. Like your volume should be reduced. Maybe the first week you're not going to failure. You're just getting in there, getting a pump, moving some food around, feeling good. And then there's no hard rules to any of this. So if you start feeling better, start pushing that intensity up, get to 1 to 2 reps in reserve, get to a failure set on each movement. And if you're recovering fully, add your normal volume back in. Depending on how long your rebound is, maybe you're feeling good enough. Maybe food's progressing fast enough. Maybe you're recovering good enough to even go beyond what your standard off-season volume is. I mean, if you can get the fact of the matter is, if you can recover from it, the most work you can do is going to build the most tissue. So, yes. But you have to find that for yourself. And it's not even something really your coach can prescribe for you because your coach has no idea what you feel like every day, right?
Yeah.
There's certainly some guidelines they can give you, but the progression needs to be the same way, more or less, the regression was coming into the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I pretty much almost everything with Mike said agree. I'm somebody too. I'm not hitting it the Sunday after the show like this psycho, but I might by like Wednesday, you know what I mean? It usually takes me a couple workouts for my body not to feel so fragile.
Me too.
And then I usually have this one workout, like every prep, I can nail it on the head, what workout it is. That's right around like 5 days after the show, like the end of that first week, where I go in the gym and I'm like rehydrated, kind of replenished, bunch of food in me. And I want to live there. I don't want to leave. The pump is crazy. My strength is through the roof. I just feel great. And like Mike said, any real bodybuilder, when they feel that way, if you don't got somebody there to hold them back, they're not going to hold back. So I don't. And once again, not advisable. But this is going to sound really dumb and like obvious again, but like it's kind of like a listen to your body sort of thing. People take, from my experience, what I've noticed, there's a wide range with people as far as how long it takes them to feel good in the gym again. Sometimes it can take people a few weeks. They need to take a week off. Their body's banged up from, peaking and posing. They're sore, they're whatever. They're all fucked up. Some people like Mike can get back to it the next day. There are a handful of people that if they did what Mike did, would literally break everything in their body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think there's a one size fits all kind of answer here. As a general guideline, I would say that first week should literally basically just be pump stuff. Go in, have fun. You don't need to train that first week. I'm never not going to be in the gym personally. I would hate taking time off. Some people love it after a show. I don't know why, but I'm like more eager to get back in the gym than ever after a show. So I'm going to be in the gym. If you're going to be in the gym, I recommend just like pump work that first week. And then as everything kind of saturates, your body kind of levels itself off, you rehydrate everything, and you kind of come slowly back to a baseline as food starts to titrate up. Then you can start to reintroduce failure sets at like a baseline straight set level, and then progress the same way you regress your volume, like Mike said, from there. If you want to add in an intensifier on some stuff a couple weeks post show, or bump your total volume a couple weeks post show, that's the time to do it once everything's kind of like leveled itself off.
Yeah, two things to add there. One on the topic of like getting back to training, man. Even if you're beat up, I don't think it's advisable to take time off immediately after the show. You're gonna eat some shit you
Yeah, I
wouldn't normally
agree.
eat. You're gonna hold some water. At least put that a little bit to use, if just for on the basis of not getting fat super quick.
Yeah.
Even if it's not
Yes.
productive work, get in there and move blood around, move that food around, try and get that water stripped off.
A big, just to jump in really quick
Yeah,
point, steps too during that time are huge.
yeah.
Because your cardio, you're not going to be want to like slam cardio like you were, but don't sit on your ass when you're eating all that food. Just stay on your feet. But continue.
The other thing I like to do coming out of shows is this is a discussion you should have before you actually compete with your coach or whoever's programming your training. That's a great period to make the change to your split to address the things that need to be addressed based on how you look on stage, because you have a built-in period of there's no fucking way you can go hard enough to get into the real like linear progression of the movement. But it's a great time to learn the movement, get in the groove, get something productive done before you start, get all the adaptation out of the way that comes just with changing movements, or like just getting good at a movement again, so that when it's time to hit it hard, now that's out of the way and you can go straight to linear progression on like a progressive overload model.
I also just love like coming out of a show, like programming kind of like a new split or something. It's just so exciting, bro.
Yeah.
It is
Like, it's
exciting.
so fun. Like the weeks leading up to the show, I'm like sitting down like a nerd, like writing shit out, like thinking
Totally.
about it all, like so pumped to like get back to it and just start
Because you
something
really
new.
start to see like if something's missing at that
Yeah,
point.
because you see
You
your
know?
gaps, you see what you need to work on the most. You get feedback from people throughout your prep.
Yeah.
Like I had Phil Heath tell me I need more biceps. So like, yeah, so that Lucas, that dude
Yeah.
Lucas, he sent
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
pictures to Phil, and Phil sent back a whole thing. That was cool. But he was like, "Yeah, the kid need more biceps, but he's good." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm upping my bicep frequency." So like that was going in my shit. But it's fun. It's fun to like when you love this shit. That's like exciting, dude. Because like you're running
Totally.
the same split for like however long, a year plus, same movement patterns, everything, trying to maintain or improve performance. And now you kind of get that like, okay, well, coming out of a show, I kind of starting from scratch here. I can kind of move in any direction I want to move in. So you get to have fun to switch some things up if you want to. But I love that part for sure.
It's kind of a funny time too, because it quickly goes from probably the most unfulfilling or boring time of the year training wise to
Yeah.
quickly the most exciting.
Yeah, for real.
And just for conversation's sake, I'm just going to talk about some other things that I've used or have seen. Number one, of course, it depends on how beat up the guy was in prep. I think a huge part of that is how lean did they get compared to how lean they have been before for show. Like if this is the most peeled you've ever been, you're probably going to be more beat up than you've ever been.
Yes.
I also think duration of the prep is a huge thing, because if you run one of these marathon preps, man, regardless, you are going to be pretty beat up, and
Yeah.
it might be 2 or 3 weeks before you feel like you can kind of let it go.
Right.
I've been, dude, you know what? And another thing is, I think adherence. The last 2 years, I've handled post show way differently than I ever did before as a young man. As a young man, I would be a dickhead post show. And so by Tuesday, I felt like Superman in the gym because I'm full of everything.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
quickly, I feel like, undeniable in the gym. The past 2 years, I've been like damn near perfect coming out of the show. And one negative of that is I noticed I'm still very dry and very like vulnerable feeling in the gym for, the first, week or two. But besides all that, I think it's a decent idea. You were kind of talking about this, Mike. I think especially guys tend to like lower their volume going into the show, with the idea like I'm going to maintain like one big top set, or I'm trying to hold my strength even if it's for one set. So you're taking a beating in that regard. I think it's a good time because the intensity is probably not going to be full force unless you're Mike, right off the bat. I think it is a good time to play with like some high volume training. Play with some different
Yeah.
stuff where it's higher volume. You know you're not getting near failure. Maybe the rest periods are shorter. Like we all talked about, that's a great way to continue to move through food and
Yeah.
demand more food.
Yeah.
And then also, bro science, whatever, full of shit, whatever. I think that is a time to kind of change how you eventually look. I have seen guys that have always trained like low volume, heavy duty, and they kind of have a more grainy, flatter look. And then all of a sudden they start blasting high volume out of a show. And I think they do look rounder and it does carry over. I could be full of shit, but I think it's a theory that's at least worth experimenting when you're coming out of a show.
Yeah.
Especially if you've always been like a low volume, Dorian style guy. Like,
Yeah.
dude, come out of the show 1 year and try it fucking Justin Compton style.
That's what I'm saying.
Happens.
We talked about that. There definitely is for whatever reason a difference in the look for people that train that
Well, I
way.
think
And I
the
think
insulin sensitivity is never going to be higher, right?
yeah.
And then so this ability to beyond anything else all year that you're going to go through, an ability to shove more into the muscle, I think is like right now. So it's like if that muscle's holding more than it ever has, I think it will have more shape to it.
Yeah, I also think too, like for guys that train like Mike and I most of the year, that are more that Dorian style, like hard, heavy failure sets, that's the
People are
time
going to think I
to
train like a wuss.
no, no, but that's the time to really experiment with that shit where it might feel
Yeah.
effective. Because
Yeah.
for me, like in the state I'm in now, if I went into the gym and tried that kind of style of training, I first of all, I would actually like me personally, I flatten out and it wouldn't do anything for me. Like I would feel like unfulfilled in the gym and like just not like I'm building tissue because like you said, probably just from an insulin sensitivity standpoint, you can really like volumize tissue in that phase. And so like I think that's the perfect time one for from injury purposes to move food around and just like you're gonna have fun in the gym no matter what almost at that point.
Right.
So it's like, all right, if you're gonna try it, that is the perfect time to do it. And then it might work for you. You know what I mean? You might
Yeah.
learn something. So
Yeah, I mean, like the core concept here, regardless of how you approach it, is that you want to set yourself up for weeks and weeks and weeks of progress as opposed to like trying to snatch everything right
yeah,
fucking now,
yeah,
which I know can be
yeah,
very attractive, right? Because you just got off stage. After the stage, I love bodybuilding more than any other
yeah,
time
yeah,
in my career. It's that,
yeah,
that couple months after I'm just glued to it.
yeah,
But the restraint there is going to pay dividends as so long as you can get to an extended rebound, staying healthy, both in the gym, staying healthy blood marker wise, insulin sensitivity wise, to put on the tissue because it takes time, man. You might look
yeah,
blasting full and feel like you're as big as you've ever been 2 weeks after the stage, but you're not,
yeah.
right? That to put it on tissue takes time. So just make sure you're doing things that sets you up for a prolonged period of progress there,
Mhm.
to be able to get you to the health phase to solidify that and then go into an off season. That's the only goal.
Sir.
All right. This is one outside of training that I think I would be interested to hear the perspective from you two guys, as experienced and accomplished as you are. This guy writes in and says, how can you go about not getting caught up in placings and letting it determine your own value or the value that you put on your season?
We just talked about
We
this in the
literally
podcast. Go,
just,
Luke.
yeah. So
Okay.
I actually have a video of this exact topic on my YouTube channel where I'm sitting there ranting about it for like 10
What's
minutes.
the name of the channel?
It's just Luke Pritchard bodybuilding. So I
Okay,
have
Luke
a
Pritchard
video there where
bodybuilding. Check it out.
I talk about the importance of placings in bodybuilding and whether or not they actually matter. And we just kind of went, like Mike said the other night on a different podcast, on a huge rant about it. But um, bodybuilding is very unique in the sense of I don't want to say placings matter because we're competitive. Placings matter because if you don't win, you don't win. You know what I mean? But as far as progressing in bodybuilding and being the best bodybuilder you can be, they don't mean shit. You can take one bodybuilding show on a Saturday and have a completely different panel of judges on that same show and get completely different placings. So just from that alone, it tells you that they're almost bullshit. The bottom line is you can look like shit and win a show if nobody shows up. You can look great and take 7th place if the lineup is deep. So if you obsess over this placing mentality, you're fucked before you even get to the stage. Okay, like you will fuck yourself because there is so out of your control. And so, what I recommend to people always is just bury your head in your own work, right? Focus on your own shit. If you can tangibly say, and like Mike's, I'm just gonna sound like a broken record to Mike because I just said all this shit. But like, if you can tangibly look at yourself and say, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm a better bodybuilder this time getting on stage than I was last time. You did your work. You did your fucking work. I don't care if you got top 5 at your first national show, and so your next national show you expect top 3. You might get 7th and look better. It,
Yes.
it doesn't matter in that sense. Keep improving. If you keep improving and you check all your boxes, cross all your T's, dot all your I's, like I said, bury your head in your work and control everything that you can control, then max effort, right? Your time will come. It will come. Even if you have a pro level physique 3 years early and you keep getting robbed at these shows, your time's still gonna come when it comes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? There's no rush to the pro league. There's no rush to the national level. There's no build your physique, get better every single year, and then the placings will inevitably improve. But if you obsess over them, like I tell all my guys competing, because I get that question. They'll like when I got guys prepping, they're sending me, do you think I can beat this guy? What do you think? What do you think we're gonna get first
Yeah.
to second? What do you think about that? I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, respectfully, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
answer this question. I don't know who that guy is. I don't really know what he looks like. I don't know anything. Okay. And it's all out of my control. I'm not judging the goddamn show. So even
Yeah.
if I thought you were better than him, the judges might think he's better than you, and then you lose. That's how the sport
Yes.
works. So
Yeah.
don't even think about it, bro. And I know that's hard because we're like I said, we're competitive. We put expectations on ourselves. You have goals. I want to go in and take top 10 at my first
You
whatever,
want to
right?
win. We
Yeah,
all
dude, that's
do
why I
this
say,
to
like, I don't
win.
want to sound
Yeah.
like a pussy. Like, we want to
No, but
win,
it's
bro.
real. No, it's
Like,
real.
we
Yeah.
all want to fucking win. I want first place at every fucking show I do. But if I sit there and if I expect it or whatever, and then I don't get it, then I start hanging my head and, oh, I'm not good at this. Oh, I'm da 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 da, right? And that's why you see so many people quit. As like I said on the podcast the other night, I've seen so many friends and just peers like their placings will regress and then they just quit because they're tired of because they feel like they're going backwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are, but like sometimes they're not, and they're just like in deeper lineups or more competitive shows or whatever. And it's like, dude, you're doing the right shit. Just keep going. It's gonna be your time when it is. But like, if you just hyper focus on it, you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. That's the important part right there is like early on in your career, like if you're meant for this, you should probably be doing better and better, like result wise each show.
Yeah,
But if you're glued to just the outcome at the show, man, the later half of bodybuilding is going to be fucking miserable for you.
yeah,
I mean, just my career up to getting a pro card, I took 7th, I think it was at 2017 Nats. Went into USA's in 2019, thought I was going to fucking ball out and got like 14th, got my shit pushed
yeah.
in.
Wow.
See,
Was
And
that
if
devastating?
dude, it's the worst feeling in the fucking world. Like
yeah, but that's
same
my
thing I
point.
said,
That's exactly
you
my
need it.
point.
You
Yeah,
need some losses, I think, as a bodybuilder to advance, but like it's a shitty feeling. But if you're glued only to the outcome as it on paper, then I don't think you're in this sport for the right reason. And it only gets worse, man. Like you look at all the shit that's going on this year, especially in open with this clusterfuck at Tampa, Texas, Atlanta. Like a lot of those guys that should probably be at the O are not going to be just by
mhm.
simple math. And if all those guys are only attached to what it says on paper, they finished it, they're going to quit, but they're not, right? Because they're bodybuilding for the right reasons with the right intent. Um, it's cool, if to hang the trophy on the wall and tell your family you got first and all this stuff, but in the grand scheme of progression in bodybuilding, until it's a pro card, it means fucking nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Like no one actually cares where you placed at your regional show.
I had this conversation. I had a pretty like controversial loss at a show I did in 2022. I did the New York State, and I was like, I thought I was going to win the overall. I didn't. This other guy beat me, and he looked respectfully. Probably not watch this podcast, but he looked like shit. And so like I thought I was garbage, right? And it was like in a pretty emotional time. It was like 3 weeks after I lost my house. I had a ton of people there for me, stuff like that.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
so like I was backstage, I didn't even want to show my face. I was so pissed.
Yes.
And I was on the phone with Blue, and he was like, bro, he was like, listen, uh, the guy was like an older dude, he'd probably been doing it for a while, maybe in his late 30s. And he was like, one day when you have a pro card and you're competing on a pro stage, that guy's going to be bragging to his friends about how he beat Luke Pritchard in 2022, right? And I
It's
was like,
true.
and it like fired me up a little bit. He was like, can you tell me like where what place Kai Green? Well, Kai Green probably won everything he did, but like you can't tell me where Samson Dowda placed in his third regional. You know what I mean? Like nobody fucking cares. You probably can't even tell me where Samson got his pro card. Most people, you know what I mean? Nobody fucking cares. Even nowadays, bro, because getting a pro card is not easy. No, no, I'm not saying this, but like it's more common that guys turn pro now than I feel like they used to. So nowadays, it's not the pro card that even means you made it. It's what you do with that pro card, right? When you get a
Yeah.
pro card, there's no more six-figure contracts waiting for you. You go, you start being competitive at pro shows. Now you're talking about serious money, right? But until you make yourself something, you ain't shit. So even getting your pro card, most people don't even give a fuck about. There's not even that same type of coverage anymore. It's once you go, like used to be, you could name every Mr. USA, right? That title was huge. Like it was a big deal to win Mr. USA.
Yes.
I nowadays, I mean, I can, but a lot of people can't name like the last 5 or 6 Mr. USAs. You know what I mean? Because that kind of prestige, even at that level, has kind of faded. So it doesn't fucking matter. Mike's an Olympian now. Okay,
Yeah.
Mike's a fucking Olympian. Had he quit after what was it, 14th at USA's after
Yeah.
regressing 7 places in 2 years? Like most people would be like, "Oh fuck this bodybuilding shit." But now the guy's a fucking Olympian, and that was as an amateur he was regressing. So like, you know what I mean? I made this post the other day. I'll probably never win. If I win another show in my life, I'll be over the moon because that means I'm going to the fucking Olympia, right? And I know that. So even when I lose and I might be pissed about it, I'm not gonna like my expectations are what they are. You know what I mean? Like it's not all about this. This is such a weird sport, bro. It's not like hockey, basketball, football. It's not that black and white. So like you can't just marry yourself to the outcomes.
Well, it's like
Yeah. I
one of
mean,
these things like you mentioned like team sports, and it's like winning is way more prominent because it's a team
Yes.
versus a team. In an
Yes.
individual sport, it's you against the field.
Yeah.
So like
That's true
even
too.
in terms of like gambling, you can have someone like in the next big golf tournament, you can take the odds on clear favorite to win. He is going to still be plus money, meaning that Vegas
Mhm.
thinks it's more likely that he will not win than
Yeah.
he does. So and that's like the best guy in the world could go
Yeah.
into it, and
Right.
he might be plus 400 if you want to bet on
Right.
him. With bodybuilding, I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, be prepared to lose.
Yeah.
The
this
best
is the
guys in the world
yeah.
lose way more often than they win.
Mhm.
Go
Yep.
look at Nick Walker's NPC IFBB history page.
Mhm.
Samson Dowda, all of them have way more placings outside of first place than they do wins. The wins are like, bam, nailed it. Like, they pop
Yeah.
up every now and again. These are the best bodybuilders on planet Earth. Maybe
Yeah.
some of the best bodybuilders that have ever walked planet Earth.
Yeah.
And they are winning, I don't know, maybe 1 out of every 4, 1 out of every 5 times they get on stage.
Yeah.
It's almost similar to like baseball. Like if you
Yeah.
are, 3 out of 10, you're fucking exceptional.
And you know what, dude? I see it a lot now. And I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't around before. This is my generation. This is the kids that are coming up under me now. So I can't really relate to it. But I don't know if it used to be like this too. But like you, I doubt it. You get these kids that are already they haven't even glimpsed the contest prep.
Nope.
And they're talking about being a
Future
pro.
IFBB pro
Yeah,
in the
they've been talking
bio.
about the
Yeah.
Olympia. I'm like, bro, who told you you were on that path? Where are you hearing this from? Because like now I've got to tell them like, no, champ, like you've got to slow your roll. And
Yeah.
like it's you just there's no reason for it. Like get into this for the right reasons, bro. I personally, even if I never went at the local level, I'd come to a point where I have to, you know, prioritize things, but I'd still be doing this shit
I'm still
because
doing it.
because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why I say too, it's never wasted time if you love doing it, right? So even if
Yeah.
you suck at it, you're not wasting your time if you're enjoying your time. So if you like bodybuilding and you want to do it because you like it, which is the only way you'll ever be any good at it anyways,
Right.
is it doesn't fucking matter if you turn pro in 2 shows because you're going to go home and you're going to keep bodybuilding. Whether you're a pro or not, you still bodybuild the same way.
Yeah.
Bro,
And then
Monday is the
nowadays,
same for everybody.
exactly. And like I said, nowadays, this fucking pro card does not get you paid. It doesn't.
No.
You as a bodybuilder gets you paid. So when you're going to be good and when your time comes that you're actually good and competitive on that level, you will reap the rewards. But that takes 10 years.
Easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you fucking jumping the gun for? And then you lose your first show and you want to fucking quit. Or you got robbed or the class was so stacked. It's like, no, bro.
Yeah. I mean, this is a sport that just being good at it is probably not enough to carry you, right? Like I've done
Right.
things because I'm good at them that I didn't necessarily love, but this sport is so monotonous and arduous that like being good at it's just not good
Yeah.
enough. It's not enough to keep you on track. Now maybe if you're someone who has a harder time winning at a lower level, that might change your risk to reward, level of
Yeah.
acceptance. But if you love this stuff, like Luke said, you're going to be doing it come Monday after the show anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're glued to wins, man, it's just not the sport for you. It really
Right.
isn't. And there's no two ways around that. Cause like Luke said, there's no money in this anymore, right?
Yeah.
There's dudes that are 19 years old that weigh 150 pounds that are pulling in millions. And I'm barely able to scrape enough money just to pay for the sport itself.
Yeah.
There's no two ways around that, man. If you're glued to winning, it's not the sport for you. It really isn't. You got to be glued to the progress. And if you're after progress, I think honestly, and this again sounds cheesy. I know we're doing this a lot now, but like the most you're going to get out of bodybuilding is probably not the stage and the money. It's probably the habits and the discipline. And like we said, the enjoyment, like that's the shit you need to focus on. Like if you can be a better bodybuilder next year than you were this year, I can almost guarantee if your head's on straight, you're probably also a better person next year than you were this year and more capable in other areas of your life as well. So start viewing this less about just winning the show as more a holistic view of, am I just better? And if you can say, yeah, then what else do you want out of this?
100%.
Dude, I will tell you from my perspective, because you guys are way beyond where I'm ever going to be. I still continue to bodybuild all in because I love to do it. To me, at its core, bodybuilding is about progress. Can I be better than the last time, right? And at this point, I've developed a business that is related to it. And part of that is showing people that I walk the walk.
Yep.
So showing people year after year that I have a process that I hand down to my clients, and it person after person continues to show that this is a sound process. So perfect example, not to just make this about me, but I almost feel like for the average person, you two IFBB pros sitting here, I might be a little more relatable to the average guy.
Yeah.
Last year, I was 15 pounds up from the year prior and in better conditioning than the year before. It ended up being the worst placing that I've ever had at a local show. And even so, I came away from it. I was pissed at first. I was like, dude, they didn't even fucking look. What are they looking at? Like, but it doesn't matter because they couldn't take that from me. They couldn't take that from me. I got to take these pictures home. And when you put them against next year or last year, they were better. Right. So that is the one thing I came away from it, regardless of the placing. I came away with tons of assurance that the process is sound. I'm just going to go back to doing this same shit because it works. Right. So then the next time I get on stage, I'm undoubtedly going to be way bigger and better even than last year.
Yeah.
And they could place me fucking 10th. It is what it is. But again, everyone is going to see that it's like I have put in the work into the process itself to continue to progress.
But
it's like, if that's not what you're after, then it's a futile attempt. Like, honestly, like even if you are after placings, the process and the progress still have to come first.
Yep.
Like time and effort
100%.
within those is what will eventually get you placings.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
two things. That's
Go ahead, Luke.
that's real fucking bodybuilding, first and foremost. Like that's what bodybuilding is, and that's why I'll have the ultimate respect for anyone. I don't give a fuck what level you're competing at. When you post your year to year picture and you're a new athlete entirely, I'm shaking your hand and saying good shit. I don't give a
Totally.
fuck if you took 7th place or first. It doesn't matter to me because that's impressive. Because one of the coolest things and one of the things I love most about bodybuilding is you wear your work ethic
That's it.
on your fucking body. You cannot
Yep.
shortchange the
You
shit that
can't
has to
buy
go
it. You
into it.
can't fake it.
No, you cannot fake it. Yes, you're going to get your 1%, your genetic anomalies that can eat pizza year round and still put on 20 pounds of muscle. But for the average white guy like us, like it's fucking bro, like you can't
It's true.
there's no way you're putting on 15 pounds of stage weight in a year if you're not busting your ass for at least 90% of the year.
Yep.
There's no way. It's just it does not happen. So when I see it or I see somebody, 10% sharper the first time their glutes get striated or whatever, I'm shaking your
Right.
fucking hand, bro. Good shit. Like
Yes.
that is what this sport is all about. And
Yeah.
like I said, I have 10 times more respect for the guy that's still competing at the local level after 10 years doing it because he loves it, making progress every year, than I do for guys winning the biggest titles. I don't really care. It's not about that. Um, like I said, that time that will come if it's in your cards. That will come when it is your time and you're due for it. But just keep fucking being a bodybuilder. If you want to do this, be a fucking bodybuilder. Keep being a bodybuilder. And then if you're good enough and it's like I said, it's in the cards, you'll win shows.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
other than that, just bodybuild, bro.
And this all gets skewed heavily by social media because all you see is the best guys. And you
Yes.
start to, if you pay any attention to it, you start to think that like that's the norm, getting a pro card at 20, being a 5-time Olympia champ. Like those things are such a drastic anomaly. It shouldn't even cross your mind,
Mhm.
right? Because you're going to start painting an unrealistic expectation of what the average bodybuilder can do. The average bodybuilder is not getting a pro card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period. The average
Yeah.
bodybuilder is spending their entire career at the local level, maybe not even getting a win. Maybe you squeeze an overall, but you're probably not getting a pro card. The other thing about this is like, we're answering this question. I can only answer for myself, but Luke, I'm going to project on you a little bit. Like
Yeah.
the two of us aren't like genetically elite guys. Like me and him are probably what you would define as journeyman. Like I've been at this for a
Yeah.
long fucking time.
Yeah.
It's been 2026. I first competed in 2013. Like I would maybe pull out some of those years because I wasn't fully dedicated to it, but still 13 years to get to where I was at. If I was addicted to just winning and that was the only thing I cared about, I would have quit a long ass fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And if you're not one of these genetic anomalies, which you're probably not, just statistically,
Yeah.
you're not going to like this shit at all. And I've said this several times on recent podcasts. Like, I think a lot of the issues around this topic are the fact that a lot of bodybuilders today just aren't athletes anymore. Like I can safely say that most people my age or around my age that are doing this used to be high level athletes somewhere else. And the work ethic that it takes to just get good or maximize your own potential probably came from being drilled over and over and over again through youth, middle school, high school, potentially college athletics. And that's kind of like fallen by the wayside now. And all people care about is the attention.
Yes.
Right? The notoriety on social media and getting 1 million followers. And
Yeah.
if it's all about money and you're able to capitalize on that, cool, man, go make your money. But that's not what bodybuilding is. It's not the social media attention. And we just said this yesterday in the podcast too. The guys that get a shit ton of the attention, aside from the Olympia level, are rarely the guys winning shows. I mean, I think the entire class when I went pro, maybe 2 of them were the guys that were getting reposted nonstop about like, these are going to be your national show winners. The rest of them weren't even on the fucking radar, man. So if this is all about attention, actually bodybuilding is probably not what you should be doing. Right?
Yeah.
Go figure out how to be an influencer, make a personality, sell your brand, whatever. But there's 2 different breeds of people doing this right now. And if wins and attention are the only thing you care about, you're on the losing side of this equation, I think.
Yeah, Mike makes a good point too. Like you guys have to remember when you're on social media, you are looking at only pros pretty much. or high level athletes, like the guys that you are following and that you're clicking on and watching their videos, most of the time, they're high level athletes or pros already. Think about go to a local bodybuilding show. Go to your local bodybuilding show. All those guys are you.
Yep.
All those guys backstage are you, and there's way more of them than there are of the people at the top that you're clicking on. So you're seeing these guys thinking, and like I've said this before, I don't understand why in this sport it's this weird like belief that everyone can be good. It's like, yo, I'm a 5'11" white dude. I'm not making it to the NBA. Bottom line, I don't care how much basketball I play. I don't care what trainers I work with. There's no shot. I can't run a 4.40. I'm not making it to the NFL. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I just very quickly like, well, that's off the table. And for some reason in bodybuilding, everyone thinks they can be Mr. Olympia. And I don't know where that comes from, but I'm assuming it's the accessibility via social media and stuff,
It is.
where it's everyone thinks they're like one of these guys, and it's like,
Well, someone like me can have the two of you on a podcast. I can't
Right.
have fucking LeBron James and Paul George on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
just because
right.
I go to the Y and play pickup basketball, these guys are not coming on my podcast.
Yeah.
That's essentially what
Yeah.
I am in bodybuilding, right? So, but I think one of
Maybe
the
not
biggest
that.
things, and you were talking about this, Mike, but like, you know, as someone that is not going to win at any point, like at a high level in my career, what can I say like has been the reward, right? I stuck with this for as long as I did. The value in it is not in the things that you collect or achieve. It's the person that you become along the way. Truly, like this, all of the things that I've learned through bodybuilding. I played other sports, like you talked about, Mike, and you know, I went to school and all this stuff, but all of the things that I am most proud of and the things that have led to success outside of bodybuilding are all a direct result of bodybuilding. I wouldn't have learned these things and learned to practice them anywhere else other than bodybuilding.
100%.
So, no, that's really all really good though, because that is going to be most of us that are listening to this. It's not most of us that are listening to this or even that are all in on this do not like, it's funny because I get to have you guys on the show. Like you guys are an example of like, you know, the outlying results, but really it's like, it's not many of us.
I just like to look at it as like me and Mike are proof of like, if you just keep fucking going, it'll happen. Like me and Mike have gotten close, you know, this last like little bit year or so, but like Joe, like I said before, you have seen my process since the beginning pretty much. And you saw that I went from a bag of fucking melted butter to whatever I am now. And like just the progression just through just doing this shit every day, every month, every year.
Well,
And
you're the perfect example of like just leaning into getting better every year and then it resulting in something.
That's my point.
Like you were just better every year. It was like, okay, like he's a little bit bigger, he's a little bit leaner.
And then it was like, oh, okay, now maybe he could be all right.
And then now he's right on the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that's that's like just living proof that if you just keep doing the shit because you love it, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. And at the end of the day, at the very least, you'll be proud. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Exactly. I think the other important thing here is if you're using wins as a proxy for potential, like fucking don't.
Yeah,
right.
That's no.
You can stew in the low amateur ranks for years and years, and then all of a sudden have the off season, right? Where like you just go fucking nuts. And now if you had quit because you thought wins meant losses meant you couldn't go somewhere, like you probably weren't built for this to begin with. But it's like my least favorite fucking question. What is my potential? I don't know, bro. Give it 5 to 10 years, right?
Totally.
I don't care how many L's you take. Keep going. Maybe you break through. Maybe you become one of these guys that just like comes out of nowhere. But you're never going to know until you try.
I have another video on that exact topic on my YouTube too. Same thing.
It's all related. It's all the same.
Luke Pritchard bodybuilding.
I'm going to keep plugging it, bro. But I want to just leave it with this. For the people that like are in this position, just ask yourself this question. If you won or you lost, what would change with your process?
Monday is going to be the same for me. I tell you that every year. It's the same for me.
It doesn't change. So ask yourself that. If you won or you lost, what changes?
Yep.
Are you going to like? And if you have an answer, like, oh well, if I lost, maybe I'll lock in more on that. Then you're
You're a
already
dummy.
fucking up.
Yeah,
So the reality is there is no difference. You
that's
just
it.
keep doing the shit. So they don't even matter.
Yeah. Um, what, if anything, is something unconventional that each of you have found to be useful in your training?
In training, unconventional.
It's a question.
I got one just to just keep it rolling and give you guys a minute.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You know what? It's something I almost had to reprove to myself that worked because it looks so silly, or it looks like it wouldn't be. But for years, I did, as part of like a full leg day routine, I would do basically like half rep leg press where they would just be continuous. I would basically get to like, I guess about 90 degrees with the angle of my knee. And then I would get just shy of lockout and the whole set is continuous. I never lock out and rest. I never, whatever. It's continuous until it won't
100%.
move continuously. And I would do that as heavy as I can for as many reps as I can. And that was like a staple. Of course, I would do extensions. I would do some type of squat pattern to the floor, ass to grass, always. But for a long time, I did that, and I had like pretty dramatic quad sweep, and I would feel that leg press there more than anything else. And then, like, I think I let the internet kind of dictate the way that I started doing things. It became like, the excessive range of motion became very
Mhm.
popular, and people wanting to comment on the videos and saying this is a half rep, whatever. So then for years, I did the leg press where I was just like eating my kneecaps. And I think my leg as a whole grew, but especially over the last year, I noticed like, man, my quad sweep is actually like less dramatic compared to the whole leg. Like my glutes are better, my adductors are better, but this one part of my leg is like not as dramatic. So I was like, you know what? Let me test this. I'm going back to this. I'll keep the full hack squat in, I'll keep the extensions in, but this is how I'm going to do the leg press. Dude, within a couple months, immediately, it's like the most dramatic body part that I have. And then it was tested even further a couple weeks back. And I'm like doing like a diet. So I'm not even eating like in a surplus or anything. A couple weeks back, I had I forget what it's Hoffa's fat pad or something. A part of my knee what is bothered at full knee flexion. When I get to the bottom of a hack squat, it is
Oh shit.
deeply irritated. And I ignored this for months and just continued to do it and months and months. And then eventually, one day I woke up and like my knee wouldn't bend. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can, I guess I
Wouldn't
can't do
bend at
this. And
all.
couldn't get it to, I had to
Like
like walk
like you were
around
lock
stiff.
knees.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh
Like I
fuck
couldn't even
that.
sit here like this, like where how right now you're sitting
Yeah,
in a
you're
chair with
bent.
your
Yeah,
knee. Couldn't do
yeah.
it. I had to have it like out and extended,
Because it would hurt because it wouldn't move.
because it would hurt so bad, and it felt like there was a swelling like in a right outside of my kneecap to
Damn.
where like it felt like something was going to shoot through my skin.
Fuck that.
So it was bizarre. I thought it might have been almost like a meniscus or something. Luckily, it was just this other thing, and it's not that serious to the point I could do hard extensions, like I could lock out hard,
Yeah.
and I could still do this like half rep leg press after I'd stayed off it for about a week. So I'm like, okay, we'll see. We'll see as if, as I'm dieting and getting leaner, I'll see if I lose my legs because of this.
Mm.
Better than any of my other body parts, it stayed. And it almost has looked like it was because my waist has gotten smaller and stuff. It almost has looked like it's continued to grow. So it's unconventional. Unless it's someone this is not like an elitist thing, but I would really have to be in the gym and speak with someone on how, what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But in general, like to a 19-year-old kid, I would never tell them to do this.
Yeah.
It
No,
looks
that's like
awful. If I filmed it, it looks like I'm a retard.
that's a big thing behind training too. It's like we've gone off the deep end with all this special shit, and it's like, I'm sorry, guys, for the most part, 90% of the bodybuilding population is going to grow from the same thing across the board. So if you're looking to be unconventional, I would advise you like strongly against it until you run into a situation like that where you say like, this thing isn't working for me. How do I modify it to make it
Yeah.
work for me?
Yeah.
And that takes time. That isn't something you figure out when you're like fucking 19 and you put on your first 20 pounds. Like that's an advanced idea, modifying what typical advice would tell you to do to achieve a better result. Like that takes serious experience and awareness of where your physique's at. So for the most part, for me, like I don't do a whole lot of unconventional stuff because the basics have worked for me. And if my mantra is if it's fucking working, don't change it.
Dude, I'll just say that's my one answer. Like everything else is like vanilla conventional, like ridiculously conventional.
Yeah.
I think the only time, the most unconventional thing I do, and this is from a coaching standpoint, not my training standpoint, is when I'm trying to bring something up on somebody, there's no rule that says like, oh, it's a leg day, you can't go do a set or two of pull downs to pull your lats up, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like we keep trying, and this is worse than ever. We keep trying to invent these rules around not just training, all of bodybuilding, but training especially. Like there's no fucking rules, man. Like if you need to bring lats up and your back feels good on a day in between your two pull days, for instance, there's nothing that says you can't sprinkle in some volume there, no matter what the day is supposed to be. I did it with arms at the beginning of my leg days. I've done it with people to bring up lats where like they're just doing a couple sets on a day that's not even close to being related to back. That's probably as crazy as anything I currently do gets as far as being unconventional. But if you're not seeing the results, man, play with some stuff. And this is one of those things. It's not just training where having a coach can really just eliminate that from the equation and say, okay, I see this in you. You probably didn't see it yourself. Here's what we're going to do to address it. Doesn't matter if it's training, doesn't matter if it's dieting, doesn't matter if it's peaking. Like the process does not need to be the same and probably shouldn't be the same for everybody. The basics probably should be, but the specific X's and O's can be where the, quote unquote magic happens for an individual that might need something that isn't typical for the rest of the population.
I'll just jump in and say that very idea, even that is not, I'm not going against your answer, but it's not even that unconventional. Like I can remember,
become a lot more commonplace now. Yeah.
You remember in today's, like with the way that people are so black and white about things. Yes. I can remember, you remember Arnold's encyclopedia? I remember him talking about him, like how did he develop this dominant chest? And I remember him saying he was unhappy with his chest, so he would train it twice a week. But then in between sets of back on back day, he would go over and hit some like high rep incline, just in between.
No, it's just like think logically.
Yeah.
Why can't you? Chest still works. Like just because you're doing a back day and you want to go hit a couple sets of flies doesn't mean your chest isn't going to work. What? You know what I mean? Like, yes. The whole thought process stems from like, okay, if you train biceps with back, you don't have to do as much bicep work because they're blah, 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 whatever. Like efficiency, I guess, if you want to call it that. But they're like, we always say on this show, like there's no rules. Just fucking do. If you need to bring up a random body part, throw it in wherever the fuck you want to throw it in.
Yep.
All right, Luke, what's your answer? Unconventional? Anything out of the box?
I was thinking pretty hard about it. Honestly, dude.
And it doesn't have to be now. Anything that you've done. Was there something that you did to bring up your legs or whatever the case is?
Nah, nothing like unconventional to the point where like you haven't heard it before. Like,
I mean, that's the message. That's the takeaway for the audience, right?
I wish I had an answer, but like, I mean, I've had some like fairly unconventional splits as far as like we just talked about, just like where certain body parts might fall, and they can be pretty specific. But as far as like things I'm actually doing in the gym now, to be honest,
I mean, the same way the message from the last topic was about like you're probably not special. Like, again, you're probably not special. If there's something lagging, you're probably just not training hard enough, or the recovery is missing. But
like for example,
the basics, like you don't need to like. I've yet to see someone say like, "Yep, like my legs were my worst body part," and then I started standing sideways in a hack squat, and doing it with one leg. And you know what, dude? I have 35-inch legs now.
Like Joe is like, that's what I was gonna say. My legs were the body part that took my physique to the next level, and they still suck, but just getting them to a point where they don't suck as bad. is what literally got me a pro card. And the only thing I did differently wasn't like weird exercise
Right.
selection or order or anything like that. No weird rep schemes. It was just I allotted my leg volume in a different way. So
More
like,
evenly across the week,
yeah,
right?
so
Like
like I was doing more of like a quad and then a ham day, and I kind of just made it two full leg days, but like one was just a
a
little
little
more
dialed
quad and a
down.
little more
Yeah.
ham. But like that's the diff. That was literally the change, and more time, and then my legs came up. So
Which really reduced that answer is just higher frequency.
exactly. It
Like
was it allowed
to
me
each part of
it
the leg.
it
Like,
allowed me
yeah.
multiple times a week to drive blood to the entire leg. One.
Yes. Yes.
Two, my session volume because of that was lower set
Yes.
wise. So I
Yep.
was able to apply more intensity per set because I knew I was coming back to them in 4 days.
Right.
Yep.
So that worked for me, but that's not unconventional. That's just thinking with your brain.
That's like, dude, fuck. Like anyone that talks about bringing up a body part, it's like very often set quality and frequency.
Yeah, it's not that complex.
All right, last one, and then we'll go. Can you guys describe the situation in which the true bro split, one body part per session, either 4 or 5 times a week, would make sense for someone?
If it's working, I don't.
Like
Right. Like
almost, yeah.
if everything's
Wait,
growing, there's no reason to change it. I
what
think
was the question? When
when would a
would it
bro
work?
split work? And it's like it worked for
Well,
fucking
like when
tons
would it
of
make
top
sense?
level
Like,
pros.
like, does
I
it
would
make
say
sense? Like if you're, if your back is way behind everything else, well then no. Like it probably
okay,
makes
okay.
sense when you're
So
pretty balanced, I would say.
I would say it can make sense. People are not gonna agree with this, but this is person specific. For some beginners, I actually think it can make sense. Um, Even though a lot of people like the upper lower, the push pull legs, the higher frequency, bigger compound stuff, whatever. I think for some that does make sense. And I also think for some beginners, a typical bro split makes sense because just volume and pump and actually having a day dedicated to one body part can teach, I think, a lot of motor recruitment, fiber recruitment, things like that, and get them to learn how to actually push a muscle to like failure throughout a session. Um, and then it'll also kind of bring everything up, you know, at the same pace, and you'll start to see where your genetic strong points and weak points are, and then you can start to tailor a split towards what you need to bring up. Like Joe said, generally speaking, in a bro split, if you have a big body part, like a back, legs, that is way behind, a traditional bro split is not ideal. However, I feel like most bodybuilders use a variation of a bro split
It's like the
while
modified bro split.
while
I say
taking
this
the body
all the
part
time.
that
Yeah.
needs to improve and just sprinkling it in a few more times throughout
Yes.
the week. So like you would take a bro split, and if it's chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, whatever, and you need to bring up your back, you might do chest, back, shoulders,
Put chest
legs,
and delts
arms
together.
and back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or something
Yeah.
like that. Or chest and
Totally.
delts together in 2 back days, like whatever. There's so many different ways you can approach it. But I mean, the bro split works, honestly.
Worked for
So
decades,
yeah,
right?
so I
Like
don't know.
I think it probably also makes sense if, and there's a kind of a nuance here that if your recovery is not good, then training a muscle one time a week might be a good move for you.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in the sense of like some people's recovery is limited by their CNS, like their ability to just go do the work. And some people are going to be limited by the fact that that muscle is just too fucking sore to train again in 3 or 4 days, right?
Me and Joe talk about this. My chest, I can't do it more than once a week, no matter.
Yeah.
I would
Luckily
love
it's
to,
not
dude. I wish I
yeah, me
could.
too. Luckily it's not a huge weak point on my physique, but
Mine
uh
stinks. So that's a bummer.
but I can't every time I do it, it's not a CNS thing. It's I'll pick up little injuries, it'll be tight, it'll
Me
start
too,
jacking
dude.
itself up. So that for
Bro,
me
and it
is
just
one.
gets so fucking sore, dude. Like
Yeah.
everything that's involved around it gets sore.
Yeah, up your
Um,
like your front
no,
delts.
but Mike, that's such a killer point because I'm sitting here thinking, like, when do I tell guys to do just a straight bro split? Man, a lot of times I will get guys near the end of prep and they had some exaggerated, we spent all off season and most of the prep hammering their legs twice a week or whatever. I get sometimes guys near the end of prep, and I will tell them, hey man, just hit everything once a week. Go in and worry about nothing other than this one body part, and then go home. Like I just got this guy, super heavyweight, like real deal competitor, got dieted himself, decided not to do, he was, you know, shooting for USA's or something, decided it wasn't the right time, whatever. So now he's just peeled and dieting himself around. He's doing push pull legs, one day off. And I'm like, dude, this is a lot. Like, you know what? Like it, and his whole idea is like, let's, you know, finish the last couple of weeks of this diet out and then set me up for a rebound. I'm like, part of setting you up for a rebound starts now with getting you out of this hole a little bit. And I put him, this was just 2 days ago, and I just put him on a straight bro split. And it's like, bro, just go in. Every day has 5 or 6 movements. And I said, go in, and for compounds, do 1 set, for isolations, do 2 sets and go home. This is it. Like we don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
So that's a great point about recovery.
On that topic too, like I would rather, especially in a prep setting, I would rather you be in the gym 5 days versus 4 and doing less work on each of those 5 days than to take an extra day off. Because I'm a big believer that the majority of your conditioning and prep is probably from the fact that if you're good at this, that you're training hard. It's not from doing a shit ton of cardio, right? Like you're going to get most of your progression on a conditioning sense from the fact that you continue to maintain your training intensity. And even if it's not conditioning, just the look on stage is going to come from keeping intensity.
You look like a bodybuilder from training.
Right. So if that's a change you need to make just to stay in the gym 5 days a week, do it.
Yeah.
Make the change.
I love that. Yeah. All right. I think that's a good spot to leave it. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for making time. All right, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you made it this far, let us know. Leave a last 5-minute crew comment. Share it on Instagram. Tag us. Let us know what you guys think. For Mike Condell, for Luke Pritchard, I'm Joseph Purcher. This was the One More Rep podcast. And until next time, we are out.